Hey everybody, how's it going? So, Marjorie Taylor Greene has officially announced she will be resigning. She either has gotten kicked out by Trump, or she's just being a whiny baby, or the pressure finally got to her, and, everybody called her out for her BS. And I'll tell you more about that here in a second. But before we do, guys, please like and subscribe. Those are the two biggest things that help me out more than anything. Feel free to share the video too, but liking and subscribing is all I ask for. I don't beg for money. I'm not one of those e-beggars that's like, oh, buy this, buy that, please give me money, all that good stuff. I actually work a job. I understand how privileged this position is. I'll get there when I get there. Only when I get enough subscribers. So thank you all again. Seriously. Thank you so much for clicking this video. Let's get into this, though. So she releases her order, and then we're also going to go over her video, and then we're going to go over her controversy here. Her biggest controversy. But, she's talking about how she's she essentially just breaks an arm, talking about how awesome she is, how awful everybody else is. And sure, that may be true. But at the end of the day, it's such a black-pilled, nothing ever gets better. Debt keeps getting higher. Nothing's ever going to get done here. And once the American people wake up and realize what's going on, they'll realize it. But here she is running away from the position that she's apparently so good at and so pure in, that she's not willing to actually stay and fight. She just is going to go hang out with her family. I guess she's made enough money. It is what it is. But I'm going to let her fully read the statement because I don't want to.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in.
I'm going to show you that she has not in a second.
Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher. Corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts. American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas.
Want to talk about some illegal labor and stuff? I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys because this drives me nuts.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist,
Construction industry, that's very specific. I understand why she's going to say what she's going to say, right?
Can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right.
So, and I'm going to...
Because I bet those illegals saved you a lot of money on construction, didn't they?
Get pushback on that, but it's... Yeah. I'm just living in reality from here on out.
Yeah.
And if anybody's mad at me for saying the truth, then I'm sorry.
Marjorie Taylor.
You know what? I don't accept it. I don't think you're very sorry. That's called slave labor. You are actively defending slave labor instead of hiring good Americans. I do not believe you. And I think that video is actually probably one of the biggest reasons why you are resigning. Because everybody saw that video, everybody shared that video, and you got called out. Now you're sitting here saying, well, I'm defending the average American man. No, you're not. You're defending the average American rich guy who uses slave labor. That's what you got caught doing. And it's unfortunate. You tried calling out Trump on really dumb issues. Really, really dumb issues. You, for some reason, kept pushing and pushing so hard on those Epstein files even after he had signed it. And acting like that he was part of the problem. Now he signed it. Now I think you've realized where you messed up. And I think Trump put you in your place and was like, see, this is why you should have listened. This is why you should have hung in here instead of sowing division. And now you went out and you got yourself caught because you were so busy speaking out against Trump. You let it slip out that you use illegals. You use slave labor. Not a good idea. It was a bad idea. This is really why this is exactly why you're resigning. Don't let it fool anybody else. Anybody watching, don't be fooled. This is why.
Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest, and the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive.
That's true. And because of your practices of owning slaves, that's what causes us to struggle. I am a father. I work nights. My wife, she, obviously a mother, works days. She works 3 days a week because she's a nurse, 3/12s, and I work 5 days a night in a coal factory. We do not put our kids in daycare. We are trying to figure out a way to homeschool. No idea how we're going to do that. No idea yet. And we don't have very much time to find out. Kind of sucks. I don't want to have to put my kid in school, but I don't know any other way because this is how we do things. Like, we both have to work. When are we going to have time to be able to homeschool? It's very, very difficult. That's why I'm doing this whole YouTube thing, and it just is what it is. But at the end of the day, Marjorie, I don't want you in that position. I don't want a slave owner to be in a position of Congress.
And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart.
Does it? Because you are filthy, stinking rich, but okay.
I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment.
I can tell you this, it's a lot more America first than the left or the neocons. So I don't know what else you want us to vote, Marjorie. What would you suggest? Who would you suggest I vote for? That's your problem.
Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations.
Sure.
And I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars.
Okay.
However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season.
Remember whenever you were going to work for, was it McCarthy? Remember when she was going to go ahead and side with him and not get the people elected that we wanted to get elected? Do you guys remember that? That was a crappy time. That was a really crappy time when they kept shutting down the vote every single time. And Marjorie was like, no, let's just let him go in there. It's his turn. And we'll make deals with him. And it was like, no, the people don't want that. And you were willing to compromise on what the people wanted. Not a very good idea, Marjorie. We saw you in 2020 and what you were doing. Or was it 2022? 2022, I believe. We saw you in 2022 going against the will of the people. So don't act. Don't play.
Which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas. Just sit. They all sit collecting dust.
Collecting dust where? On Trump's desk or in Congress not voted on? I would like to know. You should clarify on that. You don't really clarify at all, do you? At the same time, voting down H-1B visas would mean a lot more if you were not defending illegal labor. Just saying.
That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote.
Okay, she does clarify. Never mind. It is the Speaker. Okay, not Trump, not MAGA.
Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points.
Like who and what? And who are these paid shills? Couldn't name any of them? Okay.
Because they know how much credit card debt they have. They know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
They actually do
That
their own
sucks.
grocery shopping and no food costs too much.
Every
Their
day.
rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have
Mortgage for us, but yeah.
been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are.
So what about the illegals, though? How would you classify them? Seriously, I'm not going to hop off that subject. I'm just really genuinely blown away by it.
Common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard-left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family.
Millions of her own money, and she feels like that her kids are just not going to get the American dream. Man, I've never even had close to $1 million. Ever. Nowhere near in my entire lifetime. And I never, probably, ever will. I will probably never, ever, ever become a millionaire. And to hear you complain like about how your kids are going to have it rough. Look from the perspective of my kids. Okay? And then also look from the perspective of somebody who's never used slave labor to fund their business. Just saying, you are out of touch, MTG, and you don't realize it.
That I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against.
Wow. Again, another completely and totally out of touch thing. Marjorie, I work a real job. Guess what would have to happen? I would either have to take unpaid leave or I'd have to work right through it. I feel bad that your father had to have surgery and all. That does suck. But when you talk about real Americans, we don't get the luxury necessarily of just being able to take off. That doesn't happen that way. Again, very, very luxurious thing that you had to do. And so unfortunate that you had to just go fly to vote. Hey, we all got to do our jobs. We all have to do our jobs in life. You're in a very privileged position to where you very rarely have to go out and do that.
It's the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises. and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for...
Absolutely agree, but again, you can't get past the slave labor stuff. It just sucks. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know that Trump isn't necessarily doing that, though. You're saying she's going to say that there's no 4D chess, there's no plan or anything like that. And yet, Trump managed to pull a very fast one with the Epstein files. How do you explain that, MTG? What do you think that was? I genuinely would like to know, but I don't think we'll ever get an answer.
American women who were raped at 14 years old, right, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States.
You have never been threatened by the President of the United States. Now you're just lying, okay? You are absolutely lying.
Whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead
the money in her bank from the backs of all these Mexicans from over the border.
By God, who created everything in existence. Close guess. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of non-stop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family.
I don't condone any kind of death threats or anything like that towards you, but hey, you remember that one time where Marjorie Taylor Greene kicked somebody as she's walking? Like, check this out. Maybe I should have put kicks. Maybe it's this. Maybe we can get her kicking. Was it this one?
Cool. You're helping kids get shot in school.
No, I'm not. Here it is. This is much better.
No, you're helping. You're a coward is what you are.
How am I a coward? You're the one running away. You're the one running away.
No, gun rights protect people. That stops people from...
Oh, yeah, what does gun rights do for all the kids who keep getting shot in school? How am I a coward? Representative Greene, please. Am I scared of guns?
You're scared of legal guns.
Man, she is a bad debater.
To protect their kids in school.
I would have just been like, okay, well, who stops the guy who comes in there to do that to kids in the school? Oh, yeah, somebody with another firearm.
Shame on you.
How? Shame on me?
Yeah, go move to another country where they take away your guns.
I want to live in a country where kids don't get shot. I want to live.
You can. You could go to another country just like MTG said.
Live in a country where kids don't get shot. I don't think you like that.
Good. You know what?
So you like
Let's get to
Just have your Second Amendment gun violence. The Second Amendment, how does the Second Amendment prevent gun violence? You're the one that believes that the insurrection,
step out of the way.
insurance.
You're blocking a member of Congress.
Excuse me, ma'am.
You're blocking.
She didn't stop. She was still walking at the same pace. And then Marjorie actually kicks her twice in the back of the foot. Or in the legs. I don't know where she kicked her at specifically. But you could see her doing it. Watch her. It's very obvious the way she's thrusting her body.
Step out of the way. You're blocking.
See how she's looking down? She's doing that motion. Check it out.
Step out of the way. You're blocking a member of Congress.
Can see her arm kind of swing back a little bit, you know what I mean? So she's getting some momentum to strike. So, it's just kind of, I don't condone any type of violence whatsoever, even whenever Marjorie Taylor Greene actually incites the violence.
But it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much.
After that video?
And I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me.
I don't think he dumped that much money to try and destroy you or anything like that. You ended up making some very critical mistakes. That's on you.
It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better.
Is that why you're quitting then?
If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well.
Then why are you quitting? You're like, oh my gosh, this would be so bad if I got replaced. I'm going to go ahead and resign to get replaced. Okay, that's a really dumb statement.
There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it.
Will you? Because you just gave up the most powerful position possible you had to allow that to happen. So there's that.
Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless America.
Okay, well, very crazy end. The Quartering actually, tweeting about it too here. Breaking Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene announces resignation from Congress on January 5th, 2026. So yeah, there's that, It is what it is. What are people here saying? Her polling was in the low teens. Turns out fighting Trump is a really bad idea. Yeah, Republicans are losing their midterms. You really got MAGA celebrating this because she called out Trump over the Epstein files while you still have the Rhino Republicans still in office. Seems easier to quit than to just apologize for publicly going against the boss and start fresh. Yeah, sad seems to be one of the good ones, but I need illegals to make my business work. Then you have a crap business. Freedom Caucus is dead. People are calling her out absolutely. Nobody's happy with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's the real reason why she's out. What do you guys think, though? Please comment down in the comment section below. Please check out our YouTube. Here, I'll take you guys real quick. It's called Intoxigaming. This is my buddy and I's gaming channel. If you guys would like to go subscribe and bump up our numbers here. We only have 300 subscribers, but we do some pretty fun work. I think it's all fun. We have a lot of stuff. We have a custom artist that, my buddy's sister, draws me and my buddy in a lot of these situations, so you can see us here. And, I think we have a whole lot of fun. I think she does a really, really, really good job, so it'd be cool to see you guys support that, if you guys want to. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.